the cross. A symbol that spans the centuries, recognized throughout the world. But what if I told you that this very familiar image could hide ancient secrets? Secrets that have been hidden for generations, and that can change everything you think about the story of Jesus. In this enigma, the cross is not only an emblem of sacrifice, but also a portal to ancient cults and esoteric symbolism. Imagine the possibility that the true origin of the cross has been manipulated, distorted to serve religious interests over time. What do traditions not tell us? What truths are buried beneath centuries of dogma and beliefs? As you delve deeper into the story, prepare to discover surprising connections between the cross and forgotten mysteries, revelations that could challenge everything you've learned. And as we unravel this mystery, you'll always be wondering, what else is hiding in the shadows of history? With each revelation, a new mystery emerges. Get ready to look at the cross in a way you never imagined. The cross is one of the most recognized symbols of Christianity, but its history is much deeper than many imagine. Originally, the cross was an instrument of torture and execution. Jesus Christ was crucified on a cross, and this event would forever mark the history of humanity. After the crucifixion, early Christians began to see the cross in a different way, transforming it from a symbol of death to an emblem of life and resurrection. Over time, the cross was adopted as a central symbol of the Christian faith. At first, it was a discreet symbol, used in communities facing persecution. As Christianity spread and became the official religion of the Roman Empire, the cross gained prominence. Churches began to display her openly, and her image became an essential part of Christian art. The cross was not only a symbol of suffering, but also of hope and redemption. The transition from the cross as a symbol of pain to an icon of hope was gradual. Christians have learned to associate the cross with Jesus' victory over death. This change in perspective helped strengthen the faith of the early followers. From the 4th century onwards, with Emperor Constantine, the cross became a symbol of power and unity for the empire, solidifying its place in Western culture. Today, the cross is a symbol that transcends Christianity. It is seen in different cultures and contexts, often representing not only faith, but also a historical legacy. Although its origins are dark, the cross has evolved to represent love, sacrifice, and the promise of eternal life. This transformation is one of the most fascinating aspects of the story of the cross in Christianity. The roots of the cross extend beyond Christianity, and it often links to ancient cults. Even before being associated with Jesus, the cross already appeared in several pagan cultures. For example, the cult of the sun god, which revered light and life, used symbols that resemble the cross. This connection suggests that the cross could have been influenced by a variety of spiritual traditions that sought to represent the duality of life and death. These ancient cults often celebrated the idea of rebirth and eternity, themes that are also central to Christianity. The cyclical nature of life, with death being followed by a new beginning, is a concept that resonates in both pagan rituals and the Christian message. This symbolic overlap may have contributed to the acceptance of the cross as a sacred symbol in the new religious context. Furthermore, in ancient times, many gods were associated with cross shapes or similar symbols. The use of crosses in fertility or spiritual protection rituals was common. This practice may have influenced the way the cross was perceived and used by the first Christians, who, by adopting the symbol, perhaps sought to connect the new faith to traditions that were already familiar to the people. Over time, Christian iconography began to move away from these pagan roots, but the links can still be seen in some aspects. The transition of the cross from a pagan symbol to a Christian symbol was not instantaneous, but reflected a process of cultural syncretism. This complex web of influences shaped the way the cross is understood to this day. The symbolism of the cross goes beyond what is visible and known. In esoteric and mystical traditions, the cross is often associated with hidden meanings that defy conventional understanding. For some secret societies, the cross represents the union of opposites, heaven and earth, masculine and feminine. This duality is a fundamental part of the spiritual quest, where transcendence is achieved through the integration of these forces. Furthermore, the cross is seen as a portal between different dimensions. In ancient texts and secret teachings, the cross is often mentioned as a key to accessing deeper knowledge. This idea that the cross can open doors to hidden wisdom is a concept that resonates in several esoteric traditions, including alchemy and Kabbalah. In the esoteric context, the cross also symbolizes the journey of self-knowledge. Practitioners often interpret the cross as a path to be followed, where each end represents an aspect of the human experience. This journey can be painful, just like the crucifixion, but it also leads to enlightenment and a deeper understanding of oneself and the universe. Esoteric interpretations of the cross are not exclusive to Christianity. Cultures around the world have their own versions of crosses and associated meanings. This demonstrates how this symbol is flexible and adaptable, capable of incorporating different philosophies and worldviews over time. This wealth of meanings makes the cross an object of ongoing fascination. The esoteric symbolism of the cross invites deeper reflection on spirituality. It is a reminder that, behind traditions and dogmas, there are universal truths that transcend time and space. The cross, in this context, becomes a powerful metaphor for the human search for meaning and connection with the divine. The image of the cross throughout history has not remained static. It was shaped and reinterpreted according to the interests of political and religious leaders. In many moments, the institutions that held power used the cross to legitimize their actions and decisions. This is not just a matter of symbolism, it's also about control and influence. For example, during the Middle Ages, the cross became an emblem of the Crusades, where its image was used to justify wars and conquests under the banner of the Christian faith. Furthermore, the cross was also employed as a means of coercion. At different times, those who challenged the authority of the Church or who presented alternative views were often silenced, and the cross, instead of symbolizing love and compassion, came to represent punishment and repression. The inquisitors, for example, used the cross as a symbol of their mission, which often resulted in torture and death, distorting the true meaning of the symbol. Over time, the manipulation of the image of the cross was not just limited to religious contexts, but also extended to politics. Political leaders, by allying themselves with religious institutions, used the cross to promote agendas that were often unrelated to the original teachings of Christianity. The symbolism of the cross was thus distorted in many cases, serving purposes that had little to do with its spiritual essence. This adaptation of the cross is also reflected in social movements. In some situations, groups seeking to promote social justice, freedom, and equality have appropriated the cross, reinterpreting it as a symbol of resistance. This new interpretation sought to rescue the original meaning of love and sacrifice, but in a context of struggle against oppression. This shows us how the cross can be seen from different perspectives, depending on who uses it and for what purpose. The image of the cross continues to be a symbolic battlefield. In modern times, debates about its representation in public spaces, such as schools and squares, reveal how its meaning can be interpreted in different ways. Thus, the manipulation of the image of the cross is a clear example of how symbols can be shaped and transformed over time, reflecting the complexities of society and history. When looking at the cross, many can see an invitation to reflection and the search for spiritual truth. This symbol, which for so long has been associated with dogmas and rituals, can also be interpreted as a call to question the traditions and beliefs that have been imposed on us. The cross, in its essence, represents a path of self-knowledge and discovery, challenging the faithful not to passively accept what is said to them. This search for truth can be seen as a personal and unique process, where each individual is encouraged to explore their own spirituality. Instead of simply following established precepts, the cross invites introspection and the search for deeper answers. This journey often involves confronting doubts and uncertainties, which can be scary, but also liberating. Furthermore, the cross can be a symbol of transformation. Just as Jesus experienced his crucifixion and resurrection, believers are invited to reflect on their own lives and how they can transform themselves. This idea of rebirth is central to many spiritual traditions, and suggest that through the search for truth, we can find new meaning and purpose for our lives. The cross also resonates with the idea of sacrifice. The search for truth often requires us to give up certainties, to abandon concepts that we were taught and that sometimes are not sustainable. This sacrifice may be painful, but it is an essential part of spiritual growth. Therefore, the cross becomes a symbol not only of pain, but of overcoming and evolution. The cross in its purest form represents freedom of thought. She reminds us that faith should not be a burden, but a journey of personal discovery. This freedom to question and explore is fundamental to spiritual growth, and ultimately, to finding true and authentic meaning in our lives. The cross, much more than a simple religious symbol, has played a fundamental role in the formation of cultural and social identities throughout history. From the earliest days of Christianity, the cross began to be associated with values such as sacrifice, redemption, and hope. As the Christian faith spread across the world, the cross became a marker not only of belief, but also of belonging. Entire communities began to unite around this symbol, which came to represent a shared identity and a common purpose. In the Middle and Modern Ages, the cross was used as an emblem in various social and political movements. During the Crusades, for example, Christian soldiers used the cross as a symbol of their fight in the name of faith, which helped create a narrative of heroism and justice. This appropriation of the cross for military purposes shows how a religious symbol can be reinterpreted and used in different contexts, often far from its original meaning. Thus, the cross became a banner that not only represented faith, but also the struggle for power and territory. Over the centuries, the cultural impact of the cross was also felt in resistance and social justice movements. In different parts of the world, the cross was adopted by leaders and organizations seeking equality and human rights. In the United States, for example, the cross became an important symbol in the fight for civil rights, representing the hope and faith of many who fought against racial oppression. This symbolic use of the cross in context of resistance shows how faith can inspire concrete actions in search of social change. Furthermore, the cross has also influenced art, literature, and music, shaping popular culture over the centuries. Works of art depicting the cross, from painting to sculpture, often explore themes of sacrifice and redemption, reflecting the symbol's lasting impact on the collective imagination. Christian songs and hymns, in turn, often use the cross as a central theme, reinforcing the emotional connection that people have with this symbol. The cross continues to be a reference point in contemporary society. Even in an increasingly secular world, the symbol of the cross still resonates with many people, being used in diverse contexts, from religious celebrations to political protests. His ability to transcend borders and adapt to different cultural narratives is a testament to his profound and lasting impact on human history. The cross, therefore, is not just a religious symbol, but an element that shapes and is shaped by the social and cultural realities in which it is inserted. And so we reach the crucial point of our journey. The cross, which many see only as a symbol of faith, can be much more than that. Imagine for a moment that this object, loaded with meanings over the centuries, hides truths that few have dared to explore. Does the cross really represent Jesus' sacrifice? Or are there deeper layers linked to ancient cults and forgotten knowledge? As we reflect on these questions, it is impossible not to wonder what else is hidden beneath the surface of our history. Banned texts and forgotten traditions reveal to us an alternative narrative, challenging everything we think we know about Jesus and his message. What if the cross is a portal, a key to understanding not only the past, but also the mysteries that still surround us? Before closing, we invite you to share your theories. What do you think the cross really represents? What secrets do you believe are yet to come to light? Stay tuned as we dive even deeper into these mysteries in the coming weeks. What else will be revealed? The answer may be closer than we imagine.